It isn't the MTV VMAs without a little bit of drama, and the latest saga is a video circulating showing Jack Antonoff putting something in his ears during the big medley Katy Perry performance as she celebrated her legacy and accepted a very, very important award. But did he actually put AirPods in during the performance, or is this just Twitter wildin'? Well, let's look at the evidence. As the context suggests from Twitter, despite the backlash and how it initially looks, Jack is not actually putting AirPods in at the VMAs, but more likely using earplugs to protect his hearing. Now, while Katy Perry is having a suitably flop of a year, and rightfully so, I doubt Jack would be putting them in and listening to something else at the VMAs, because that would just be ridiculous. Although he has shaded Katy Perry before, when he praises Taylor Swift and her songwriting, Jack referred to the music of Perry and Gaga as throwaway, comparatively, which, like, ouch, Gaga doesn't deserve that. But despite the fact that there seems to be a lot of online fury about AirPods gate, people have been quick to clock that Jack is trying to protect his hearing, considering it is literally his livelihood. He needs them in tip-top shape when producing to hear all the finer details. And you can kind of tell by the way he wiggles them into his ear that it's an earplug, it's not an AirPod. So all in all, a random Stan Twitter bit of drama where we need to really pay attention, folks. But the footage, I guess, does look eyebrow raising if you didn't know that most folks these days do like their earplugs at a concert. I know a lot of friends that have the loops, they wear them all the time. Concerts, conventions, you name it. Orlando Bloom was spotted looking deeply confused while Katy Perry danced somewhat suggestively during her 10-minute-long performance at the VMAs. The crowd of celebs cheered on Katy Perry during the medley of her mega hits last night. However, Orlando Bloom's reaction to his fiance's performance was a little more subdued, if you will. His reactions were at best confused and at worst extremely awkward. The climax of Katy's performance was when she and the rapper Doechii performed part of their new song, I'm His, He's Mine, which will be on her upcoming album. I think it's titled 143. Their performance was a little PG-13 to say the least. They twerked, acted as if they were about to kiss, and then flat out scissored. Nothing Miley Cyrus hasn't done before. So Orlando looked like he's cringing, and then as the camera zooms in on him, he starts smiling and clapping. Good save, pal. Later on, as the crowd was erupting when Katy was singing California Girls, and we get the camera cut to Orlando once again, he's not screaming, he's not crying, he's not throwing up. Instead, he's just nodding along with a very perplexed expression on his face, like he's never heard the iconic bop before. So he did appear to be more of a fan of the national anthem, that is I Kissed a Girl, which valid. He performed the pinnacle of dad dancing by shuffling from side to side, clapping, mouthing the words, as one does. Now, folks on Twitter were deeply unimpressed by his lack of enthusiasm during his fiance's performance. One user wrote, Orlando Bloom is reacting to this performance as if he's never heard a single Katy Perry song before. What is going on? So I think it's safe to say that last night was a bad night to be Shawn Mendes. All three members of an insane love triangle were not only there, but all three members of this love triangle performed. As Sabrina Carpenter said herself, she knows she's been known to share, so sharing the stage with Shawn and Camila Cabello at the VMAs definitely meant a drama-filled evening was ahead. Here's a roundup of the most chaotic drama that ensued between the three of them. In a seemingly innocent Instagram caption, Shawn wrote, "Pulling up to my own funeral." Seems pretty suspicious given that we all knew he was heading to the VMAs, where both of his ex-girlfriends would be waiting for him. Telling Billboard before the show, I'm kind of having a funeral today just for everything that is negative, everything that doesn't serve me, death to the things that are negative, death to the people and the situations that try to bring you down. Looks like everybody knew they were into it. Also, I have genuinely no idea how this happened. Maybe all three of their stylists got together and decided to watch the world burn. So Sabrina stunned in a gorgeous white gown gifted to her by Madonna, and Camila looked very similar to her music video counterpart, Jenna Ortega, switching back to her natural dark hair and wearing all black. The two eerily echoed the Taste video a little too much for comfort. Also, in the video, Sabrina and Jenna attend their ex-boyfriend's funeral. So maybe all three agreed that it's time to put this drama to bed? Leaning into the homewrecker angle for the second time was probably one of the most super cool things Sabrina has ever done. She looked insanely good while humbling Shawn and Camila on stage. Whatever went down, nobody can tell me this wasn't an iconic moment. Camila knew she was gonna have to bring that heat after finding out both Shawn and Sabrina were performing, and she brought a whole fire. She opened her performance with her song June Gloom, rumored to be about her and Shawn's reconciliation, but then quickly switched up the tempo with Godspeed, which is all about leaving the past behind. Love that for you, girly. This is probably the most chaotic moment from the whole VMAs, but in Camilla's performance, she literally smashed up a laptop on stage. Now, people were quick to speculate why she would put such a random thing in her performance, but one theory really stuck out. So you might think nothing of this, but I personally remember a very famous laptop that was featured in the midst of all the love triangle drama. Need I say more? With the least amount of love out of the trio, no surprise, Sean performed a new song from his upcoming self-titled album, and it sounded like the song was about Camilla, with the lyrics reading, "When you're so in love and your soul's touch, but it's still not enough, where does it go?" Okay, they were lyrics, I wasn't really wowed, but it sounds like his new music's gonna be a tell-all into this whole love triangle drama from his perspective, one we haven't heard yet. Am I excited? Not really. Ariana Grande has a lot on her plate at the moment. After releasing her smash 7th studio album, Eternal Sunshine, this past spring, the pop superstar has been entirely in Wicked mode, doing serious promo for the highly anticipated film adaptation of the Broadway musical, and wearing a lot of gorgeous Galinda-coded looks in the process. And with all this going on, it looks like she decided to skip out on the awards. And this was a shock to fans, seeing as she was one of the most nominated artists of the night. She had 7 noms! And despite tying with Megan Thee Stallion and Sabrina Carpenter as the 4th most nominated artist of the night, she was nowhere to be seen once Showtime rolled around. She seemed to actually hint at her absence a couple of hours before the show began, when she shared a clip from her "We Can't Be Friends" video to her Instagram story, writing, "I just want to say thank you and I love you so much to my Angel fans who've been writing so hard for We Can't Be Friends. You're my heart, this will always be my favorite video and the one I am proudest of, no matter what. I am so proud of us and grateful for you, Chris the director, and for our teams who brought this vision and story to life with us." Now, the rumor mill claims Ariana skipped out because she knew she wasn't going to win any of the awards she was nominated for. And once again, I question, how rigged is this award show? Seriously. Chappell Roan went viral within minutes of arriving at the VMAs last night, after footage came out of her shouting back at a photographer and telling him to shut the F up. Now, this video is the most talked about moment of the night, with everyone wondering what caused Chappell to shout back at the VMAs photographer. And thankfully, she was actually given an explanation, because it wasn't really clear what went down at first. So the original video shows Chappell Roan posing on the VMAs red carpet before whipping around and arguing with the photographer, shouting, "You shut the F up." Then she says, "No, not me, bish." But what actually went down? Well, she explained further in an interview what led to the disagreement. So she was talking to ET and she's like, "I was really scared going for the photographers." She said, "This is quite overwhelming and quite scary. I think for someone who gets a lot of anxiety around people yelling at you, the carpet is horrifying. I yelled back. You don't get to yell at me like that." So she's referring to the process, right? When you get to the red carpet, you have to stand in front of all the press cameras and they should all shout your name for photos. And yeah, she rightfully so. By the way, Chappell performed her smash hit Good Luck Babe last night, and she gave this insane performance inspired by Joan of Arc, as well as taking home the coveted Moon Man for Best New Artist. So considering nobody can stop speaking about her and her music is next level, look, I think this is all deserved.
We have Jay-Z. This happened recently at this year's Grammy Awards. Jay-Z won the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award at the Grammy Awards on Sunday and called out the Recording Academy for failing to recognize his wife, Beyonce, with Album of the Year. "I'm just saying, we want y'all to get it right," the Hard Knock Life rapper said. "We love y'all, at least get it close to right. Obviously, it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion based, but some things, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that," he repeated. "The most Grammys, never won Album of the Year. That doesn't work." Beyonce has been nominated for Album of the Year 4 times, but has lost each time she has been nominated. First to Taylor Swift, then to Beck, then to Adele, and finally to Harry Styles. She currently holds the record for the most Grammy wins in history with 32. Jay-Z went on to cheekily mock the intense emotions that Grammy losers sometimes endure. "Some of you are gonna go home tonight and you feel like you've been robbed," he said. "Some of you may get robbed. Some of you don't belong in the category. When I get nervous, I tell the truth." Next up, we have Billy Joel. When Frank Sinatra was honored at the 1994 Grammys with the Legend Award, his speech seemed to go on and on. But no one expected the broadcast to cut him off mid-sentence sentence and immediately go to commercial. Later during the ceremony, Billy Joel took a stand. He stopped his performance of River of Dreams intentionally to waste commercial time, saying, "Valuable advertising time going by. Dollars, dollars, dollars." He smirked and carried on. Now let's talk about Milli Vanilli. In a first for the Grammys, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences rescinded Milli Vanilli's 1990 Best New Artist Award after it was revealed that the duo did not sing at all, did not sing any of the vocals on their album All or Nothing, including their mega hit Girl You Know It's True. That is not the kind of history that any artist wants to make. I hope revoking this award will make the industry think long and hard before anybody ever tries to pull something like this again, the Recording Academy president said at the time. Seemingly, it has. If you don't know the whole story, let me recap. The German-French pop duo barnstormed through European charts with their first single, Girl You Know It's True. The song hit the US airwaves in March later that year with stratospheric impact. Their debut album sold over 8 million copies and spawned 3 #1 singles. It stayed in the top 10 for the rest of the year. Young fans, mainly women, screamed along to Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan's tight choreography and blatant eye candy. All of that was overshadowed and then swept into the dustbin of pop history by disgrace. By the time Milli Vanilli accepted the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1990, many in the music business suspected something was afoot. That November, Farian, one of the members, revealed in a press conference that the duo never sang on any of their recordings and lip-synced their performances. Wow. Radio stations stopped playing all their songs and fans destroyed their records, as well as the Grammys rescinding their award for the only time ever in history. Next up, we have 21 Pilots. Upon receiving their Grammy for Best Pop Duo Performance for the song Stressed Out at the 2017 Grammys, 21 Pilots walked up on stage to accept the award in their underwear. According to the band, it was fulfilling an old promise that they made to each other to accept their first Grammy in their underwear. Host James Corden followed suit, introducing Ed Sheeran later that night in his boxer briefs as he explained to the audience, "I always told myself that if I ever hosted the Grammys, I would also do it in my underwear." 21 Pilots have had their fair share of controversy. In 2020, Tyler Joseph issued an apology after making a joke about using his platforms, which many of his followers deemed insensitive. He took to Twitter to share 2 photos of himself wearing a pair of white shoes, captioning the post, "You guys keep asking me to use my platforms. Feels good to dust these bad boys off." The joke was perceived to be a response to many of the singer's fans who have urged him to use his status and large following to raise awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement and other social issues. "Human rights aren't a joke, but okay," one fan replied. Another commented, "No, that's actually not what we mean. We would like you to speak up on the injustice in this country." A third follower labeled the post, quote, "really tone deaf and insensitive," adding, "You've been known to not like to talk about politics, but are human rights really that political? No, they are not." Next up, we have Kanye West. At the 2015 Grammys, Kanye nearly went on stage after Beck won Album of the Year. Everybody thought he was joking, maybe making a reference to his infamous 2009 VMAs moment when he jumped on stage and told Taylor Swift that she didn't deserve her award. But this time, he wasn't joking. Although he didn't take the mic this time around, he shared his thoughts on Beck's win after the show, saying, quote, "All I know is if the Grammys want real artists to keep coming back, they need to stop playing with us. We ain't gonna play with them no more. Beck needs to respect artistry and he should have given his award to Beyonce. And at this point, we're tired of it," Kanye said, with his wife Kim K at his side. He continued, "Because what happens is when you keep on diminishing art and not respecting the craft and smacking people in the face after they deliver monumental feats of music, you're disrespectful to inspiration, and we as musicians have to inspire people who go to work every day and they listen to that Beyonce album and they feel like it takes them to another place." Next up, we have Miley Cyrus. Miley has had her fair share of award show moments, like when she grinded on a pole on top of an ice cream cart at the Teen Choice Awards, and when she performed Blurred Lines dressed as a naked bear. But at this year's Grammys, Miley spoke her honest truth while performing her mega hit song Flowers. Everything was going well in her performance until she got to the chorus. I guess she noticed the audience wasn't singing along, and so she stopped the song saying, "Why are you acting like you don't know the song?" After a moment of silence, she continued, with no one in the audience joining in. Next up, we have Taylor Taylor Swift. Now, Taylor has had over a decade of going to the Grammys, so let's talk about two awkward moments. First up is more recent. At this year's Grammys, Celine Dion presented the award for Album of the Year to Taylor Swift. This was a huge moment for Celine, as this is her first public event since the announcement of her illness, stiff person's syndrome. You'd think Taylor would respect the person giving her the award, but no. Taylor got on stage, hugged every single person on there except for Celine Dion. She also didn't make eye contact with her while taking the award. Yikes. I guess there's unknown beef between the two megastars. Next, we have the famous red carpet interview from the 2015 Grammy Awards. To refresh your memory, the exchange unfolded while Swift spoke with Entertainment Tonight reporter Nancy O'Dell about her dress. Things took an awkward turn when O'Dell insinuated about her much talked about dating life. As the camera does a full take on Taylor's dress, the reporter says, quote, "I just wanted to show the legs because as I was telling you ahead of time, you're going to walk home with more than maybe just a trophy tonight. I think lots of men." The singer appears to shoot O'Dell a death stare before replying, "No, I'm not gonna walk home with any men tonight. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and then I go home to the cats." Next, we have Trevor Noah. As host of the 2024 Grammys, Trevor had a lot to say. As the music industry continues making sense of music by UMG artists being removed from TikTok earlier this week, on Sunday night during the Grammy Awards, host Trevor Noah called out TikTok during his opening monologue. "Shame on you, TikTok, for ripping off artists. That's Spotify's job," he says. Wow. Nice and honest. I like it. Our next celebrity is Nicki Minaj. In Nicki's 2012 Grammys performance, people were, let's just say, confused. Her performance of Roman's Revenge was confusing and super bizarre. For those who don't know, Roman is Nicki's British alter ego. During the first part of her performance, she was pretending to be Roman while confessing her sins to a priest. While Nicki may think her Roman character is interesting, most of the population does not. In fact, most people in the audience just assumed Roman was Nicki rapping in a British accent. She falsely assumed that people would understand the story behind her performance. Most people questioned what was happening at the time, and the performance was a lot to take in. Besides being difficult to understand, Nicki was full of manic energy and really difficult to watch. Many found the Catholic Church imagery to also be offensive, and it was obvious that she lip-synced most of her performance. Finally, we have Beyonce. At the 2023 Grammy Awards, Beyonce was missing when it came to accept her award. Viola Davis announced the nominees and revealed that Beyonce had won. However, when the camera panned to the audience, the Break My Soul singer was not there, despite Trevor Noah, who also hosted that year's awards, saying that she was in the crowd moments earlier. After the camera couldn't find Beyonce, it panned back to the stage where two men were standing holding the singer's award. One of the men, one of the writers of the song, said something inaudible into the microphone before ending with, "Beyonce, thanks y'all." Trevor stepped up to the mic and told the confused audience Beyonce is on her way after being stuck in traffic. Beyonce has now equaled the award for most Grammys of all time, he added, stalling until she arrived.
At number 10, Linkin Park. I can't say I've ever been to any kind of award show, but from what I gather with these high-profile ceremonies, it's pretty exclusive and security is very tight. I mean, it would have to be when there's a big room of celebrities and crazy fans outside the venue trying to catch a glimpse of their favorite person. It's great for those who are invited because they know they'll have a mostly smooth trip to the show, but sometimes there can be mix-ups and it can cause quite the headache. One of these headaches occurred at the AMAs one year, and it resulted in the band Linkin Park getting kicked out of the award show. Back in 2017, the band was at the AMAs to accept the award for favorite alternative artist, but because of a mix-up with their credentials, they ended up spending most of the night battling with security to let them into the event. One of the bandmates documented the whole ordeal on their Instagram story, where they explained that they weren't given the right tickets and passes for backstage, and they spent a long time dodging security before eventually being kicked out. I feel like security should have a list of those who are attending the event so that this doesn't happen, but maybe things have changed since this incident. At number 9, Lily Allen. I think it goes without saying, but don't take substances. Actually, strange substances that were randomly given to you. Singer Lily Allen certainly did not follow that advice, as it got her in so much trouble that she ended up getting kicked out of an award show. Lily told the story of what happened on her Twitter when a fan asked to hear about a time that they were kicked out of somewhere. The singer told the fan about how they got kicked out of the Glamour Awards several years back because they did a line of what they thought was "no no snow," but it turned out to be a very different substance. Lily followed that up by saying, quote, "I was thrown out, passed over some railings of the Glamour Awards for for being a K-hole, end quote. It's an unfortunate story, but it also once again reminds us to not take substances. Keep your noses clean, folks. Don't do it. Now, before I carry on with the rest of the video, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a big ol' thumbs up on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because it really does help the channel out and we love seeing your support. At number 8, Russell Brand. Russell Brand can be kind of an outspoken guy. He's the type of person who always says what's on his mind, and he often faces mild amounts of backlash for it. Like last year when he tried mansplaining WAP. That was definitely fun. But his words have also gotten him in trouble at award shows, and he's been kicked out of one for making some not so funny jokes. This all took place back in 2013 when he was attending the GQ Men of the Year award. When Russell was on stage, he started cracking jokes about the award show sponsor Hugo Boss, making fun at the fact that this brand had a history of providing uniforms for the German soldiers in World War II. You know, those guys. Anyways, Russell made a comment about this saying, quote, "Any of you who know a little bit about history and fashion will know that Hugo Boss made the uniforms for the Nazis. The Nazis did have flaws, but you know, they did look f***ing fantastic. Let's face it, while they were killing people on the basis of their religion and sexuality," end quote. As you can imagine, nobody found this joke funny at all. In fact, it was so unfunny that Russell was promptly kicked out of the show. It was very offensive, but he stuck to his guns, so to speak, continuing to comment on it via Twitter, but we don't need to talk about that today. At number 7, One Direction. Back in the day, One Direction was one of the biggest groups in the music industry, so any news about them was of course amplified by their fans. One story that caught a lot of people's attention was how a couple of the band's members had allegedly been kicked out of an award show, but as things on the internet do, details got lost and rewritten, so really no one knows exactly what happened that night, but I'll tell you about all the speculation that went on then. The band was at the AMAs back in 2015, and at some point during that evening, a picture of bandmates Niall Horan and Louis Tomlinson started circulating around Twitter, saying that they had been kicked out of the event for messing around too much. Soon fans started speculating, and that speculation turned into the following story. Apparently, once again, according to the internet, the two band members were hitting each other in the nuts, and so they got kicked out for being rowdy. Once this story started going around, reps of the band tried to clarify that the picture that started it all was taken as the lads were waiting to return after a commercial break, but at this point, everyone was ready to run with the ball story, so honestly, I don't know what to believe. The only solid information we have is that those two were sitting outside of the show. At number 6, Ryan Seacrest. Imagine being invited to one of Hollywood's biggest events just to get kicked out moments after you arrive. I feel like that would really suck because you would really hype yourself up to experience something so extraordinary, only to be let down and have your dreams crushed. Well, maybe not so dramatic, but it still wouldn't feel very nice. This is essentially what happened to Ryan Seacrest as he was invited to the Oscars awards ceremony and was kicked out shortly after arriving. According to Ryan, he was invited to the award show to provide the segue from the pre-show event to the main award show, but after he completed his task, he went to go find his seat because he assumed that he would be staying for the rest of the show. While he was looking for his seat, he was approached by the event's ushers and managers and was told, quote, "Mr. Seacrest, your car is ready," end quote. He was a little taken aback and was like, no, what do you mean? I just opened the show," to which they replied with, quote, "We don't have a ticket for you." Ouch. Ryan continued explaining what happened next, saying, quote, "So they put me in a car and they drove me out, and the next thing I know, I'm on Hollywood Boulevard going away from the Oscars, and the LAPD and the cops are on the corner, the windows down, and they say, 'Hey Ryan, you're going the wrong way.' I said, 'No, I'm going the right way.' They sent me home to watch on television like everyone else," end quote. That must have really stung, but at least he was able to get into some comfy clothes to watch the show from the comfort of his couch instead of being stuck in a suit sitting next to celebrities who don't wear deodorant or something. At number 5, Adam Pally. I figured that it would take a lot for someone to get kicked out of an event like the Shorty Awards. I mean, this award show is for social media stars and influencers, and they cause all kinds of shenanigans all the time. So I figured that this kind of energy was given at an event like this, but apparently someone has gone that extra mile to get kicked out of this event, and that was actor Adam Pally. Adam was at the award show back in 2018 to present an award, but apparently he thought that the concept of the entire award show was so dumb, and so he decided to rip on it for a good 10 minutes before getting escorted out of the event. As soon as he got to the stage, Adam started his commentary by saying, quote, "Thank you very much for having me tonight at the Shorty Awards, the waiting at the DMV of award shows," end quote. I mean, he's not wrong. He then followed up with a handful of other jokes, essentially making fun of the supposed legitimacy of the award show, but then he made one comment that was the last straw for the show's executives when he said, quote, "Tonight we pay tribute to those who are not with us. We're going to do an in memoriam for a bunch of, I don't know, like MySpace or something." end quote. He was escorted out of the event soon after. At number 4, Alison King. Once again, we have to talk about celebrities being under the influence in public. I understand that a lot of award shows serve drinks and whatnot, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go overboard with the booze, because that can lead you to getting kicked out, and that's what happened with actress Alison King at the National Television Awards last year. The Coronation Street actress had to be escorted out of the event because she started drinking to excess, and that certainly wasn't a good look for those who were running the show. Other guests in attendance commented on the actress's state at the award show, saying that she was acting a little disorderly and pretty out of it because of how much alcohol she had consumed, and so once this came to the attention of the event's executives, they had to get her out of there for their sake and for Alison's. I would imagine that something like that would be pretty embarrassing, so let this serve as a reminder to drink responsibly, guys. At number 3, Kid Rock and Tommy Lee. While attending an award show, you have to respect what's going on stage. Whether it's a performance or the actual awards being presented, it's important to be a good audience member and not cause a scene in the middle of the event. Clearly, however, Kid Rock and Tommy Lee didn't quite get this memo, because when they attended the VMAs in 2007, they caused quite the scene and ended up getting kicked out because of it. The pair got into a heated argument during Alicia Keys' performance that started as a verbal fight and ended in an all-out brawl, with slaps, punches, and the whole 9 yards. Other guests in attendance were stunned while they watched this fight unfold. Some tried to get out of the way as security rushed to break the scene up, and others just sat at the table stunned. The police were eventually called in to handle the situation, but this fight was certainly not something that people would forget anytime soon. At number 2, Hattie McDaniel. Now, this incident didn't exactly result in someone getting kicked out, but it almost did. Back in 1940, actress Hattie McDaniel was nominated for an Academy Award, and she actually ended up winning the Oscar. However, she was almost unable to accept the honor because she was black, and they almost didn't let her attend the ceremony. Back then, the venue where the award ceremony was held was a whites-only establishment, so people had to pull a lot of strings to get the actress in the building, and even then, she wasn't allowed to sit with the rest of the cast of Gone with the Wind. Instead, she was seated in the far corner of the venue, but as long as she was there and able to accept the award, that was enough. She made history that night, and it's wild to think how different things would have been if she had been kicked out that night. And finally, at number 1, Aubrey Plaza. Even though many have tried, I feel like award shows aren't the place to be pulling weird stunts because they never end well. I mean, look at Kanye's VMA moment. It was straight up cringy. But even the embarrassment factor can't stop all celebrities from pulling stunts at these events, and actress Aubrey Plaza is one of those stars who tried to pull one of these stunts and it totally backfired and got her kicked out of the event. While attending the MTV Movie Awards back in 2013, Aubrey ran up on stage barefoot and tried to pry one of the golden popcorn trophies out of Will Ferrell's hands after he had just won the award for comedic genius. The comedian thought that the stunt was staged at first, but it turns out that this had been a publicity stunt from one of Aubrey's films called The To-Do List, which she had spelled out across her chest. It was just a really cringy moment, and I'm sure a lot of people have been trying to forget about it, so sorry for bringing it up again.
Starting off the list, number 10, we have singer and songwriter Ed Sheeran. He has confessed during an interview that American and British award shows are much different from each other. He states that in England, they don't care who really wins or loses, and it's just spent having a good night out. That being said, Ed's experience with American award shows is that it's just not a good atmosphere apparently, and he said that everyone is not nice. Just after his 2021 VMAs performance, he explained that he doesn't enjoy American award shows and doesn't feel like he will attend that many more in the future. The musician explained that the atmosphere was quite uncomfortable and that there's a feeling in the room that everybody wants other people to fail, and so he just doesn't like that and doesn't want to be a part of it. So honestly, it's like he's removed himself from award shows, which is fair. Taking on the number 9 spot is Justin Bieber. The pop star has actually been recognized by the Academy and has been nominated 3 times for a Grammy and won once. Justin was nominated again back in 2017 for his album Purpose for Album of the Year and Best Vocal Pop Album, while his song Love Yourself was also nominated for Song of the Year and additionally for Best Pop Solo Performance. With 4 nominations under his belt for the 2017 award show, Justin was a no-show. The star didn't show up to the ceremony because in Justin's eyes, it's apparently irrelevant and does not do a good job at representing young singers. Now, moving on to 2021, Justin was nominated for a pop category, though he felt this was wrong and released a statement saying he should fall under R&B instead. Even with the nomination, again, it was said that he would not be attending again for similar and additional reasons. Moving on to our number 8 spot is The Weeknd. For the 2021 Grammy Awards ceremony, The Weeknd announced that he would be boycotting the show and any future events or ceremonies held by them after he received no nominations for his well-received album After Hours. Sounds a little like sore loser to me. His album broke numerous records while his song Blinding Lights stayed on the Billboard Top 10 list for an entire year. Okay, so maybe he deserved an award. I should note that this historic accomplishment has not been met by anyone else, so he probably deserved an award. Therefore, when the artist was not seen on the nominations list, he felt annoyed, and his words were that it was because of their corrupt system. The musician made a statement saying that he believes that the public and other people in the industry need to see the system as it is and how you have to play for the win. It was announced that he will remain disinterested in being part of the Grammys and will no longer submit his work in the future. Quickly moving on to number 7, we have Kim Kardashian. Could you believe that there was once a time when Kim Kardashian was banned from the Met Gala? Well, you better believe it, because Anna Wintour herself resented the Kardashians and refused to let them attend the show, as she didn't want any reality TV stars at her events back then, because she just had TikTok star Addison Rae this year. Though Kim made it into the event in 2013 on a technicality, as her partner Kanye West was performing, and even Wintour herself could not deny entry to the headliners +1. This technicality of Kim making her way into the Met Gala without a formal invite was met with Kim being forbidden from attending the next gala due to Anna's sort of hatred towards her, so articles say. That being said, with the growing popularity of Kim Kardashian and her wildly known sisters, they would finally be able to formally go to the infamous Met Gala event, and Kim and her sisters would go on to have fashion moment staples at the event pretty much every year. Moving down the list, number 6, we have James Franco. In 2011, the actor hosted alongside Anne Hathaway for the Oscars. After the show, it would go down in history as one of the worst hosting jobs in Oscar history. The two ended up hosting to try to appeal to a younger crowd, as at the time, the pair were both at the peak in their personal careers. That being said, the night did not go as planned, as the two of them were constantly at odds during the show, leading to some very awkward moments. According to rumors, there was a lot of tension behind the scenes between Anne and James, which led to the disaster that was their hosting job. Though James is the one making this list instead of Anne, and that was due to his lack of professionalism, as Anne always showed up to rehearsals and committed 100% of herself, while it was said that Franco, on the other hand, didn't care as much and was quite lazy when it came to the show. Their complete opposite personalities did not work in their favor. Now, James Franco was never banned from attending the award show, but he was definitely not asked to host again, and honestly, ever since the Me Too lawsuits came against him in recent years, he hasn't really been invited back to anything. So, making it to the halfway point at number 5 is Frank Ocean. The mysterious singer and songwriter has been considered one of the best musicians of the decade, yet has never showed up to an award show. When Frank's debut album, Blonde, was released, the artist didn't even bother submitting his work to be nominated. So why is this? Well, the singer critiques the infrastructure of the award and nomination system, stating that he doesn't feel that award shows well represent diversity. Because of this, despite nominations and 2 winning Grammy Awards, the singer has not stopped his boycott and continued to stand against the Academy for their lack of representation. Following Frank Ocean not showing up to his Grammy Win Awards ceremony, the producer of the Grammy Awards criticized him, saying that he should in fact show up and perform in order to better represent himself. That being said, Frank's little interest with his winnings has led him to not be blinded by the success, and the boycott continues. At number 4 on our countdown is Kanye West. Now, we all know that Kanye is not new to controversies or media headlines, but this incident was caused due to many stunts from Kanye. Over the course of the musician's career in the industry, he has won over 21 Grammys, but has always lost when he was up against certain artists. Additionally, Kanye has been known for stating his hatred for the structure of the music industry and how little musicians actually have power because their record label owns all of their work. In 2015 at the Grammy Awards, the artist would make his opinion on the industry very clear by making headlines for rushing on stage after Beck won Album of the Year over Beyonce's Self self-titled album. While later on in the ceremony during Kanye's performance, he flipped off the audience to show how he truly felt about the ceremony. In 2021, Kanye was also nominated for Best Contemporary Christian Music Album for his record, Jesus is King, though he still has not been seen attending the ceremony since 2015 for his protest. After Kanye won for his Contemporary Christian album though, he tweeted a video of him urinating on his award. So we're not really sure if he's ever going to be welcomed back, and it's not very Christian-like of you, Kanye. Also known as Ye, because he got approved to change his name legally to Ye. In case anyone wanted an update, that's a real thing. Moving up the ranks, number 3, we have comedian, actor, and producer Ricky Gervais. In 2020, Ricky had the important role of hosting the Golden Globe Awards ceremony. He is a comedian and well-versed actor with past experience in hosting award shows, so like, what could go wrong, right? Well, the answer is lots. Lots could go wrong. In the past, Ricky was praised for his very blunt and careless jokes, though his 2020 hosting gig was not met with the same reaction. In Ricky's opening speech, he made jokes about the racism in Hollywood and deeming the Hollywood Foreign Press Association to be blatantly racist. He then went on to joke about the several films being made about different assault cases that were going on. The audience was totally shocked by his speech, and the Academy was not amused. Because of his missed jokes and political commentary, the Golden Globes would go hostless the following year to purposely avoid another Ricky incident happening. That's when you know it's bad, when they're like, screw it, we're not having a host. Can't risk it. Moving on to one of the top spots, in second place is Tyler, the Creator. The 28-year-old musician originally began his career in the group Odd Future, but later on would turn solo and began making his own music. Tyler is now best known for his alternative hip-hop and neo-soul music genre. After years of making Billboard hits and quite a few albums, in 2019 Tyler would win his first Grammy for Best Rap Album. His win was met with conflict after the ceremony though. During public interviews, he said he felt that his win was a backhanded compliment. He believes that his music does not fit in the rap category. The musician stated that he is disappointed that artists like him are put in the rap or urban category even if they don't fit. His hatred for the word urban would be brought up as he states it's just a politically correct way of saying a racial slur. Tyler went on to call out the Grammys for their treatment of black artists and would want to be recognized on a more mainstream level versus the urban and rap category that he is put in by default by the Academy. Tyler's blatant honesty did not get him publicly banned from the show, but he's not been seen at an award show ever since. Finally, at number 1 is Morgan Wallen. The American country singer and songwriter found his way to fame by competing on the talent competition show The Voice. The artist was scheduled to perform, present, and accept possible winning awards at the 2021 Billboard Music Awards. He was nominated for 6 awards this year, including Top Country Artist and Top Country Male Artists. Though months before the award show was to take place, he was caught on camera saying a racial slur. Following this, the Billboard Music Awards would ban any involvement that he was supposed to have in the 2021 award show. That being said, his nomination still stood, and he went on to win 3 awards that would be presented to his producer. Now, this was not the only award show that banned the singer for this incident. He was also banned from the Academy of Country Music Award show as well. The singer is not new to controversy though, as his performance on Saturday Night Live was cancelled as he apparently broke COVID-19 safety protocols by attending a party the night before the show. Starting off the list, number 10 is none other than Eminem. When Eminem won the Best Original Song for Lose Yourself back in 2003, he wasn't there to accept it, so his co-writer abruptly had to accept the award on his behalf. Were you wondering where he was to miss his original song winning a Grammy? Well, he was sleeping. In an interview when he was asked about the matter, he confessed he skipped the ceremony on purpose because he didn't think he had a chance of winning since he was up against Bono. Additionally, he made it clear that he has no care to go to the Grammys because, as he states, he is tired of seeing the same cycle every year. He also confessed that having an album of the year used to be a big deal, but it's not anymore. He does not hide the fact that he is upset with the Grammys, as he dragged the Recording Academy even more by stating that he has no interest in playing this rigged game anymore that they call an award show. It really doesn't surprise me that he says these things. Moving along to number 9, we have Ariana Grande. The artist was set to perform at the 2019 Grammy Awards ceremony, but because of certain events, she was no longer able to perform. In a report with former Grammy ceremony producer Ken Elrich, he stated that the reason why Ariana Grande could not perform was because she felt as if it was too late for her to put something together for the show. He also mentioned in the news article that even though she was nominated for 2 awards, the Recording Academy wanted her to perform, but after much debate, it was too late to set up a performance. This statement was revealed to be completely fake by Ariana herself when she called him out for lying about the reason in which she couldn't perform. In a series of tweets, Grande revealed that she decided not to attend or perform because she didn't feel supported or wanted by the producers. Additionally, they gave her no creative freedom within her performance, and even after offering 3 different songs and the Grammy producers still not compromising, Ariana said thank you next and took her business elsewhere. Taking the charts by storm at number 8 is Will Smith. If you did not watch him in The French Prince of Bel-Air, you probably know him from his multitude of leading movie roles that include Men in Black, Independence Day, and Concussion. I mean, how do you not know Will Smith? The American actor and father of Jaden and Willow Smith took a stand with his wife to be a no-show at the Oscar awards ceremony. In 2016, the actor vowed not to attend the Oscars again in protest of the lack of diversity seen in the nominations, due to this being the 2nd year in a row that all 20 acting nominees were white. In an interview with Good Morning America, Will states that everyone in Hollywood is part of a community, and currently people of minorities are uncomfortable standing at the ceremony and saying that this is okay. At the end of his interview, Will concluded with a quote, "To lead with love and only good will come out of it." Will emphasized that the most important thing is that the spirit of the awards is maintained. This is not Will's first time boycotting an awards event. In 1980, he actually boycotted the Grammys once he was told that the announcement for Best Rap Performance would not be televised. We are moving on to number 7, and we have the former Disney star Bella Thorne. Besides her long-running time at Disney, Bella has starred in a great number of films and TV, such as The Duff, Midnight Sun, and Scream. According to a series of tweets from Bella, she publicly boycotted the Teen Choice Awards in 2018 despite having received multiple nominations, with nominations in Choice Drama Actress, Choice Drama TV Actress, and Choice Movie Ship. The celebrity would not attend the event or any other Teen Choice Awards in the future. This comes from her feelings about Fox's annual show, as she states that Teen Choice is gross. As Bella explains the fact that kids and teens' votes are pinned against each other, and that messes with kids' heads. As well, she mentioned that she believes the whole awards are rigged anyway. She concluded in her explanation for boycotting the awards and noted that instead of having categories such as Choice Female Hottie and Choice Male Hottie, they should replace it with Most Charitable or something like the Smartest Male and Female, which I agree. Like, do we really need hot teens? Like, who cares? Moving along to spot number 6 is none other than Drake. You probably don't need an introduction, but I'll give you one anyway. The Canadian singer, songwriter, and actor first started his career in Hollywood by starring in the TV series Degrassi, The Next Generation, which is filmed here in Toronto, which is always so fun, because I love Degrassi. But now Drake is most known obviously for his work as a musician. In 2018, Drake didn't even bother submitting his album More Life for consideration at the Grammys, because in 2017, Drake won a Grammy and took the stage to express how he did not expect to win this year considering who he was up against, but made it clear that the artists who didn't win a Grammy are still winners because they have a fan base willing to support them. As Drake's acceptance speech went on and began giving constructive criticism about the Grammys, the producers cut off his microphone and skipped to commercials. Drake has been very vocal against the Grammys for their lack of diversity among nominees, and this was just the tipping point for Drake. After his win in 2017, he told publications that he won 2 Grammys that he didn't even want because he wasn't happy that the awards show pinned him as a rapper when he doesn't believe that he truly falls into that category. The artist has been absent from ceremonies since, and he also declined to perform at the event in 2019. Honestly, if he's not a rapper, what is he? I would just pin him as a rapper personally. At the halfway mark, coming in at number 5 is Marlon Brando. Most notable for his role in The Godfather, the American actor has starred in numerous films throughout his career, with being a part of classic films such as Apocalypse Now, Superman, and Last Tango in Paris. Taking it way back to 1973, Brando has one of the most famous moments in Oscar history when he was announced the winner for Best Actor for his role in The Godfather. Marlon was not the one to attend, attend, but Sacheen Littlefeather attended in his place to accept the award instead. Brando has been an activist for the treatment of Native communities and culture in North America, and he thought this was the perfect time to highlight the mistreatment of Native people. Dressed in a traditional dress, she was giving a 15-page speech. However, a producer on the show threatened to have her physically removed and arrested if her speech went over 60 seconds. So Littlefeather had to improv her speech, and when ushered to take the award trophy, she declined. Not only was she booed on stage, but after her speech when leaving the stage, John Wayne was allegedly held back by 6 men to stop him from assaulting her. Even though this was quite a long time ago, it's still shocking to hear about the hatred and aggression towards her. Moving down our list, number 4 is the rocker Brent Hinds. If you are unfamiliar with him, he is an American musician best known as a member of the metal band Mastodon. Mastodon? Chris? Mastodon. Chris met this guy, okay? Brent is a guitarist for the band in which they play heavy metal and rock music. The musician has also spent time working on film soundtracks, which include films like The Big Short and Monsters University. Even though Brent is part of the biggest heavy metal acts, he was reportedly kicked out of the Grammy Award ceremonies in Los Angeles in 2015. This was due to many reasons, the first being that he trolled the interviewers at the Grammys red carpet. But this was primarily at fault for him showing up to the ceremony dressed up as a Los Angeles Dodgers baseball star, Adrian Gonzalez, and allegedly he spilled a bag of illegal substances, money, and underwear on the red carpet. When he refused to pick up the contents, he was thrown out of the event due to bad behavior. Taking one of our top spots, number 3, we have the American actor Chase Stokes. Chase is best known for his leading role in the hit Netflix drama series Outer Banks and has acted in a handful of movies. Prior to landing his career-defining role in Outer Banks, though, he struggled in finding his place in Hollywood. There was a point in his early career where he would be living in his car and working on the side as a temporary catering waiter. Surprisingly, he ended up working as a waiter in Elton John's Oscar party, but got fired and kicked to the curb just 15 minutes into the job because he was seen watching the band. That being said, he still recalls it as a positive experience watching the band, even though he never got a paycheck. Luckily for Chase, everything ended up working out when he received his big break in Hollywood with Outer Banks, and maybe next time he will be invited back to Elton John's Oscar party as a guest instead of a waiter. Moving on to the second spot is the Godfather actor Carmine Caridi. Y'all, I probably said that wrong. I'm sorry. The American film actor got kicked out of the Academy for sharing screeners in 2004. According to an interview in 2017 with The Hollywood Reporter, he confessed that he used to share his VHS Oscar screeners, and not just with his family. He would actually pass his screeners on to actors and a variety of people, one of them being Russell Sprague. Russell would end up copying them before sending them back, and this is something that Hollywood takes very seriously, by the way. This was so bad that there was a chance that he could end up going to prison, but that didn't need to happen once evidence came out that Sprague was the one to copy the screeners. All of that being said though, he ended up facing a $300,000 lawsuit from Columbia Pictures and Warner Brothers, so let's just say being removed from the Academy and banned from attending the Oscars was just the beginning of the consequences that he had to deal with. Last but not least, at the very top spot at number 1 is Summer Walker. The American singer is wildly successful and has collabed with artists such as Drake, Justin Bieber, and Sam Smith. The R&B artist was set to attend the 2021 BET Hip Hop Awards show in Atlanta, though Summer was unable to attend and was even banned from the show due to her refusal of taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Oh boy. Though the artist tested negative the day of the show, that was not good enough for the music network. The singer was banned not only because she wasn't vaccinated, but also because of her public stance on the matter. She was publicly sharing false accusations and news about the COVID vaccine, so they claimed. Obviously that's their opinion. That being said, she showed up anyway to the show to announce her sophomore album would be released next month. However, this message was actually received outside of the walls of the venue because she was refused entry upon arrival. She even commented on the matter in a video of her outside of the awards show, and she states, "I was super excited to go to the BET Hip Hop Awards today, but they wouldn't let me in due to COVID restrictions. I had such a pretty dress and everything, but it's fine." Ooh, I can't wait for the comments about this one.